Carmen sat alone by the small, dimly lit window of their humble apartment, her gaze lost in the steady stream of rain cascading down the glass pane. The persistent, rhythmic drumming of the rain was a sorrowful symphony that echoed the turmoil within her soul. Her 3-year-old son, Daniel, sat nearby, absorbed in the simple joy of playing with his battered toy car, completely oblivious to the tempest raging inside his mother's heart. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. 3 long years had passed since Ricardo had walked out of their lives, leaving Carmen and their newborn baby to navigate the harsh waters of abandonment. His betrayal had sliced through her with the precision of a razor-sharp blade, leaving her heart wounded and raw. But the cruel reality of her situation offered no space for grief. Fueled by an unbreakable love for Daniel, Carmen immersed herself in the role of a single mother with a fierce and unwavering resolve. "Mommy," looked, Daniel's innocent voice cut through her reverie like a beacon of light in her dark world. He proudly presented his worn-out toy car, his cherubic face glowing with a pure and untroubled smile. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," Carmen responded, her words tinged with forced cheerfulness. Her heart was a storm of emotions, aching profoundly as she gazed at the joy in Daniel's eyes, knowing all too well how precarious their situation had become. She struggled daily to provide the basics, barely managing to keep a roof over their heads with her meager earnings. Their small town offered little respite or opportunity. Carmen juggled 2 demanding jobs, scrubbing and cleaning houses during the day and serving tables at a local diner by night. Despite her relentless efforts, the financial strain was a constant shadow. The eviction notice she had received that morning was a heavy burden on her already strained mind. The thought of potentially being cast out onto the streets with her child was a nightmare that gnawed at her resolve. Driven by a desperate determination to secure a better future for Daniel, Carmen steeled herself for a confrontation with Ricardo. The thought of facing him was daunting, but she knew she had to ask for his assistance. She found him in his new, comfortably appointed apartment, sharing his life with a new partner. "Ricardo, we need to talk," Carmen began, her voice trembling despite her effort to sound firm. His gaze, a blend of irritation and detachment, met hers. "What do you want, Carmen?" he asked, his tone laced with disinterest. "We need child support." "Daniel is your son, too," she implored, her voice cracking with the weight of her plea. Ricardo's response was a dismissive sigh, his face set in a stubborn frown. "I have a new life now. Talk to my lawyer if you want money." The frosty detachment in his voice was a crushing blow, leaving Carmen feeling more isolated and defeated than ever. How could he remain so indifferent to their child's needs? The callousness in Ricardo's voice felt like a dagger twisting in Carmen's chest. Each word from him was a chilling reminder of her isolation and the betrayal she had endured. As she left his new apartment, her heart was weighed down by the heavy realization that she was fighting this battle alone. The streets seemed to stretch endlessly as she trudged back to their tiny, dimly lit apartment, the weight of the eviction notice in her purse feeling like a constant, mocking presence. The thought of losing their home, the one stable haven Daniel had ever known, was a crushing blow. She could scarcely afford the bare necessities, let alone deal with the prospect of being out on the streets. The rain that had begun to fall seemed to mirror her internal storm, each drop a reminder of the bleakness she faced. Yet, despite the overwhelming despair, Carmen knew she had to stay strong for Daniel. Her love for him was a beacon of light in the dark tunnel of her struggle. Carmen swallowed hard, fighting back the tears that threatened to fall. She pressed a soft kiss to his forehead, her heart aching with a mix of love and anguish. "Always my love, I promise," she said, her voice trembling but firm. She stayed by his bedside, watching him fall into a peaceful slumber, her heart a tempest of fierce love and unyielding resolve. She was determined to shield him from the harshness of their reality, no matter the cost. The following day, Carmen threw herself into a frantic search for solutions during her brief lunch break. She dialed number after number, reaching out to local charities, scouring government assistance programs, and even considering the unthinkable, selling the few precious items she had left. Each attempt seemed to fall short, leaving her increasingly disheartened. The thought of letting Daniel down was unbearable. That evening, as she worked her shift at the diner, her mind was a whirlwind of worries and fears, making it nearly impossible to focus on her tasks. The regular customers noticed the strain etched on her face. Mrs. Harper, an elderly woman known for her kindness and empathy, reached out and gently touched Carmen's hand as she refilled her coffee cup. "Everything all right, dear Mrs." Harper's voice was filled with genuine concern, her eyes reflecting a deep sense of compassion. Carmen forced a weary smile, trying to mask the depth of her distress. "Just a bit tired. That's all," she replied, her voice betraying a hint of the exhaustion she felt. Mrs. Harper's reassuring pat on her hand was a small but poignant gesture of support. "You're a strong woman, Carmen. Don't forget that the simple encouragement was a brief respite from her overwhelming worries, offering a glimmer of hope in her darkest moments." After her shift ended, Carmen walked home through the quiet, deserted streets, the oppressive weight of the eviction notice still pressing heavily in her pocket. As she looked up at the night sky, obscured by the city's glare but still speckled with faint stars, she made a silent vow to herself and Daniel. "We will get through this," she whispered, her voice steady despite the tears that threatened to escape. "No matter what it takes, no matter how difficult the path ahead may be, we will persevere. Together we will find a way to overcome this." The promise was not just to her son, but to herself a testament to her unyielding resolve to fight for a better future, no matter how insurmountable the obstacles seemed. As Carmen stepped back into their apartment, she paused for a moment to absorb the small, familiar surroundings that, despite their modesty, held the essence of home. The walls, though slightly worn, had witnessed countless moments of laughter and love. This tiny haven was all they had, and she was resolute in her determination to keep it as their sanctuary. That night, as she lay down to sleep, a renewed sense of determination enveloped her. The future was shrouded in uncertainty, but one thing was clear: she would never relent in her fight for Daniel's well-being. Daniel was the beacon of light in her life, her unwavering hope, and the driving force behind her daily struggles. The morning sun gently filtered through the thin curtains of their humble abode, casting a warm and hopeful glow across the small living room. Carmen moved methodically at the kitchen counter, preparing breakfast with a practiced ease. Her eyes frequently darted toward Daniel, who was energetically dribbling a small, worn soccer ball across the frayed carpet, his face aglow with the pure excitement of youth. "Mom, guess what?" Daniel's voice burst forth with infectious enthusiasm as he sent the ball skidding toward her. "Carlos told me about this local football club. They practice every day after school. Can I join, please?" The hopeful sparkle in his eyes made Carmen's heart ache. Her mind raced with the harsh reality of their financial constraints. Enrolling him in the club would mean stretching their already strained budget even further. The thought of disappointing him was almost too much to bear. But as she looked at his radiant, hopeful face, she knew she had to find a way. "That sounds amazing, Daniel," she said, her voice soft but filled with genuine admiration as she handed him a plate of fluffy scrambled eggs. "Let me see what I can do." "Okay," she watched as Daniel's face brightened with hope, his eyes widening with anticipation. "Thanks, Mom. I promise I'll be the best player ever." His enthusiasm was contagious, and as he eagerly devoured his breakfast, Carmen's mind was a whirlwind of possibilities and concerns. The joy in Daniel's eyes was a powerful motivator. After breakfast, Carmen sat at the small kitchen table, her gaze drawn to the jewelry box resting on a shelf. It was an ornate, old box that contained a precious family heirloom, the necklace that had once belonged to her late mother. The necklace was not just a piece of jewelry, it was a tangible link to her past, holding a wealth of cherished memories. Carmen took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her decision settle heavily on her shoulders. With trembling hands, she opened the jewelry box and gently lifted out the necklace. It felt both light and heavy in her hands, a symbol of her mother's love and a reminder of the sacrifices she was willing to make for her child. She knew that despite its sentimental value, Daniel's future was even more precious. Determined and resolute, Carmen made up her mind. That afternoon, she ventured to a local pawn shop, the bell above the door jingling as she entered. The shopkeeper, a middle-aged man with a curious yet kind expression, looked up from his desk. "Good afternoon," he greeted, his tone polite but cautious. Carmen offered a small, forced smile as she approached the counter, her heart heavy with the gravity of her decision. The necklace was a link to her past, but she was prepared to part with it for the sake of her son's dreams. The shopkeeper's eyes softened as he looked at the necklace Carmen held out, her fingers trembling slightly. "How can I help you today?" he asked, his tone both professional and kind. Carmen took a deep breath and said, "I'd like to sell this." As he examined the necklace with a practiced eye, he nodded appreciatively. "This is a beautiful piece. I'll offer you a fair price for it." The shopkeeper's assessment was quick, but Carmen's heart was heavy with the weight of her decision. As he counted out the money, she felt a profound mix of sadness and resolve. She was letting go of a cherished link to her past, a symbol of her mother's love, all to secure a brighter future for Daniel. It was a sacrifice she embraced with a steely determination. With the cash now in hand, Carmen made her way to the local football club. The sounds of children's laughter and the rhythmic thud of soccer balls being kicked filled the air, bringing a glimmer of hope to her heart. The atmosphere was vibrant and filled with the joyful energy of young players honing their skills. Approaching the registration desk, Carmen was greeted by a friendly coach who wore a welcoming smile. "Hello, how can I assist you today?" the coach inquired. Carmen's heart raced with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. "I'm here to enroll my son, Daniel, in the football club," she responded, her voice steady despite her anticipation. The coach's face brightened with enthusiasm. "Fantastic! We're always excited to welcome new players." He handed her a stack of forms, and Carmen filled them out with meticulous care, her hands moving with a sense of purpose. Every stroke of the pen was a step closer to realizing Daniel's dream. Once the forms were completed and handed back, Carmen felt a surge of accomplishment. She had done it. Daniel's future in football was now within reach. That evening, as she picked Daniel up from school, her excitement was palpable. "Daniel, guess what?" she said, her eyes sparkling with joy. "What, Mom?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "You're officially enrolled in the football club," she announced triumphantly. Daniel's face lit up with pure, unbridled happiness. He threw his arms around her, hugging her tightly. "Thank you, Mom. This is the best news ever." As they walked home together, Daniel chattered excitedly about his future in football, his enthusiasm bubbling over with every step. Carmen listened, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude for this precious moment of hope and joy. It was a reminder of why she fought so hard every day. Over the following weeks, Daniel immersed himself in football with an infectious passion. Carmen watched with immense pride as he practiced diligently each day, his skills improving with every session. He made new friends, including Martin, whose mother, Mrs. Mendoza, frequently stayed to watch the practices. One afternoon, while chatting with Mrs. Mendoza, Carmen felt a profound sense of community and support. "Daniel is doing so well, Mrs. Mendoza remarked with a warm, approving smile. "You must be incredibly proud of him." Carmen's heart swelled with emotion as she nodded, her eyes reflecting the deep pride she felt. "Yes, I am," she replied, her voice tinged with a mix of joy and gratitude. I'm so proud of him." "I am," Carmen replied, her voice trembling with emotion. "He's worked so hard, and it's all he talks about, Mrs." Mendoza's eyes softened with empathy as she nodded in understanding. "It takes a strong and loving parent to support their child's dreams like you do, Carmen." As weeks slipped into months, Daniel's growth and progress in the football club were palpable. Every practice, every game, was a testament to Carmen's sacrifices and relentless effort. The crisp autumn air now danced across the football field, mingling with the echoes of children's laughter as they practiced. Daniel, his face alight with joy and his spirit uncontainable, stood out amongst the players. Carmen watched from the sidelines, her heart overflowing with pride as he skillfully maneuvered the ball and celebrated each goal with exuberance. "Mom, did you see that Daniel bounded over to her?" His cheeks flushed with excitement. Carmen enveloped him in a tight hug, her voice filled with warmth and pride. "I did, sweetheart. You were incredible." Yet, even as she reveled in his triumph, a gnawing worry lingered in her mind. The championship was fast approaching, and Daniel needed a proper uniform to participate. The threadbare clothes he currently wore were inadequate for such a significant event. That evening, as they strolled home together, Daniel's excitement about the upcoming match was palpable. "Mom, Coach says if we win the championship, scouts from the national team might notice us." His enthusiasm was contagious, but Carmen's thoughts were occupied with the pressing issue of the uniform. How could she possibly afford it? The recent strain on their finances had left their budget dangerously thin. Determined not to let her financial worries dampen Daniel's excitement, Carmen resolved to find a solution. The next day, she arrived at the football field early, her heart pounding with a mix of hope and apprehension. When Coach Ramirez appeared, she approached him with a tentative smile. "Coach, I was hoping we could discuss the possibility of getting Daniel a new uniform. I understand it's important for the championship." Coach Ramirez examined her face, perceiving the underlying strain. "Carmen, I understand your concern. Unfortunately, uniforms can be quite costly. However, let me see what options we might have. I'll speak with the team and explore if there are any spare uniforms or potential assistance we can offer." Relieved by his willingness to help, Carmen thanked him gratefully and returned home, her resolve unwavering. She continued to juggle her demanding work shifts, her spirit buoyed by the hope that a solution would present itself. When she arrived back at the field the following week, she was met by Coach Ramirez, who greeted her with a reassuring smile. "Carmen, I have some good news," he began. "We were able to find a uniform for Daniel. It's not brand new, but it's in great condition and should serve him well for the championship." Tears of relief welled up in Carmen's eyes as she thanked Coach Ramirez profusely. "I don't know how to express my gratitude. This means so much to both Daniel and me." As she looked at her son, who was practicing with renewed vigor, she felt a profound sense of relief and fulfillment. The sight of Daniel donning his new uniform brought an overwhelming wave of joy to Carmen's heart. His happiness was a vivid reminder of why she persevered through every hardship. As they walked home together, Daniel's enthusiasm for the upcoming championship was palpable, and Carmen allowed herself a moment of peace, knowing that she had done everything in her power to support her son's dreams. Coach Ramirez's voice was filled with warmth as he shared the news. "We managed to secure a new uniform for Daniel. It's been generously donated by someone who heard about your situation." Carmen's eyes brimmed with tears of relief and gratitude as she struggled to find words. "Thank you so much, Coach. This means more to us than I can express." The day of the championship dawned with a palpable sense of excitement and hope. The football field buzzed with energy as players and spectators alike prepared for the big match. Carmen watched with a heart full of pride as Daniel, now clad in his new uniform, looked every bit the confident and determined player he had become. The game was fiercely competitive, with both teams pouring their hearts into every play. Daniel's performance was exceptional, each movement showcasing his passion and skill. In the final moments of the match, Daniel made an unforgettable play, scoring the decisive goal that clinched the championship for his team. The roar of the crowd was thunderous, and Daniel was hoisted onto his teammates' shoulders in a triumphant celebration. Carmen's heart soared as she watched the elation on her son's face, a radiant testament to his hard work and dedication. That evening, as they sat down for a modest celebratory dinner at home, Daniel looked up at her with eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you, Mom. I couldn't have done it without you." Carmen enveloped him in a tight hug, her heart swelling with a mixture of love and relief. "I'm so incredibly proud of you, Daniel. You've worked so hard, and you've earned every bit of this success." As they enjoyed their simple meal together, Carmen reflected on the arduous journey they had traveled. The sacrifices she had made, the challenges they had overcome, all of it had been worth it to see Daniel's joy and achievement. The future remained uncertain, but Carmen knew one thing with unwavering certainty: she would continue to fight for Daniel's dreams and their future, regardless of the obstacles that lay ahead. In a gesture of profound kindness, Mrs. Mendoza approached Carmen the following week, her face radiating warmth and generosity. "Daniel's so lucky to have you," she began. "Let me help. I insist. Consider this a gift for Daniel's hard work and dedication." Carmen was about to protest, but Mrs. Mendoza's firm yet gentle tone left no room for argument. Later that week, after practice, Mrs. Mendoza handed Daniel a beautifully wrapped package, her smile conveying heartfelt affection. "Daniel, this is for you," she said. Daniel's eyes widened in surprise as he unwrapped the package, revealing a brand new football uniform. His face lit up with joy. "Thank you so much. This is amazing," he exclaimed. Carmen, witnessing the moment from a short distance, felt tears of gratitude welling up. She approached Mrs. Mendoza, her voice choked with emotion. "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to us." Mrs. Mendoza's smile was gentle and reassuring. "Seeing Daniel happy is more than enough for me." With a renewed sense of confidence, Daniel's team continued to excel. They triumphed in a local match that weekend, their victory infusing them with a boost of morale and bringing them closer to their ultimate goal. As Daniel celebrated with his teammates, Carmen stood by with a heart brimming with hope and gratitude. "Mom, we did it. We're going to the championship," Daniel shouted, running to her with his new uniform glistening in the afternoon sun. Carmen embraced him tightly, her pride and joy evident. "You were incredible, Daniel. I'm so proud of you." The sheer joy radiating from Daniel was infectious, and Carmen felt a flicker of hope for their future. The challenges they faced were formidable, but with the support of compassionate individuals like Mrs. Mendoza, they felt equipped to face whatever came next. As she tucked Daniel into bed that night, Carmen felt a profound sense of peace. She kissed his forehead and whispered, "Always believe in your dreams, Daniel. Together we can achieve anything." As Daniel drifted off to sleep, Carmen sat by his bedside, enveloped in a sense of tranquility. The road ahead might still be fraught with difficulties, but with the love and support surrounding them, she was confident they would navigate it successfully. The crisp morning air of the capital city promised a realm of dreams and opportunities, and Carmen looked forward to the future with renewed determination and hope. Carmen stood at the field's edge, her heart brimming with pride and deep, undeniable emotion as she observed Daniel guiding his team with relentless resolve and spirit. "Mom, can you even believe it? We're heading to the championship." Daniel's eyes shone with an electrifying excitement as he jogged toward her during a brief break. "I can believe it, my love," Carmen responded, her smile glowing with warmth, but her heart was tangled in a web of anxiety. The journey to the capital was going to be costly, and her financial resources had already been stretched to their limits. As practice wrapped up, Carmen approached the coach, her mind racing with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "Coach, could you please provide me with the final cost estimate for the trip?" Carmen inquired, her voice carrying a tremor of concern. The coach nodded solemnly and handed her a printed document. "This estimate covers transportation, lodging, and meals for the team. We're trying to keep costs as low as possible," he assured her. Carmen's gaze swept over the sheet, her heart sinking further with every number she saw. The total was far higher than she had expected. After expressing her gratitude to the coach, Carmen walked home with Daniel, her thoughts churning with anxiety and potential solutions. That night, as Daniel drifted off to sleep, Carmen found herself alone at the kitchen table, staring blankly at her most recent paycheck. It was painfully inadequate. Determined to give Daniel the opportunity he had worked so hard for, she resolved to allocate her entire salary toward the trip. But even with that sacrifice, it still wasn't enough. She needed to find additional funds. The following day at work, Carmen approached her boss, Mr. Thompson, her face set with resolve. "Mr. Thompson, I'm hoping to request extra hours if possible. I need to save up for an essential trip for my son," she explained, her voice steady despite the underlying desperation. "Mr. Thompson glanced up from his paperwork, his expression softening with understanding. "Carmen, you've been an outstanding employee, and I know things haven't been easy for you. We could use some help with weekend shifts. Would that be feasible for you?" His offer was a lifeline. Carmen's heart soared with gratitude. "Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. As she left his office, a wave of relief and renewed hope enveloped her. The additional hours would provide the crucial financial support she needed. She could make this work. That evening, she shared the news with Daniel. "Mom, you're incredible. I can't wait to compete in the Capitol," Daniel said, enveloping her in a tight hug. Carmen held him close, her voice trembling with pride and love. "I'm so proud of you, Daniel. You've earned this chance, and I'll do everything in my power to support you in the days leading up to their departure." Carmen threw herself into working extra hours, meticulously planning every detail. The community rallied around them as well, with Mrs. Mendoza organizing a small fundraiser at the local market where neighbors generously contributed. On the morning of their departure, the team assembled at the local bus station. Parents and friends waved goodbye, their faces alight with pride and hope. Carmen stood with Daniel, her heart racing with a tumultuous blend of excitement and nervous anticipation. "Are you ready for this, champ?" she asked, affectionately ruffling his hair. "Ready as ever," Mom, Daniel replied, his confidence radiating like a beacon. As the bus began its journey, Carmen watched their familiar town recede into the distance. The capital city, with its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, symbolized far more than a mere destination. It represented a realm where dreams could take flight. Upon arriving in the capital, the team settled into their lodgings. The city's overwhelming noise and ceaseless activity contrasted sharply with their small-town familiarity, but Daniel's enthusiasm remained unwavering, a testament to his boundless spirit. As twilight gently embraced the city, Carmen and Daniel embarked on an evening of exploration, their spirits buoyed by the city's vibrant energy. Each street corner and landmark Carmen pointed out evoked cherished memories from her childhood, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia and wonder. The cityscape, with its shimmering lights and bustling ambience, seemed to come alive with the stories she shared, making each landmark more than just a place. It became a piece of their shared history. The following day dawned with an exhilarating promise as the championship began. The stadium was transformed into a magnificent coliseum of excitement, alive with the fervent cheers of fans and the electric hum of anticipation. Teams from every corner of the nation had gathered, their collective enthusiasm creating a palpable buzz that permeated the air. Carmen sat in the stands, her heart a cacophony of emotions, every beat a mixture of pride, anxiety, and hope as Daniel prepared to take the field. Each cheer she offered, every shout of encouragement was a testament to her unwavering support, outshining any lingering worries. The match unfolded in a dramatic display of athletic prowess and unyielding determination. Each goal was met with an uproar of excitement, the crowd's roars reverberating like thunder through the stadium. Daniel played with a relentless spirit, his new uniform a symbol of his dreams and the boundless possibilities before him. As the final whistle blew, the stadium erupted in a triumphant roar, and the sense of victory was almost surreal. Carmen's heart raced with a mixture of elation and overwhelming pride as she surged onto the field, her emotions cascading in a torrent of joy and relief. She enveloped Daniel in a heartfelt embrace, tears streaming freely down her cheeks, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "You did it, Daniel. You truly did." Her words were a heartfelt celebration of his achievement and the incredible journey they had undertaken together. Daniel's face shone with a radiant smile, his eyes sparkling with a blend of triumph and gratitude. "We did it, Mom. I couldn't have done it without your support and love." As they basked in their victory, a sharply dressed man approached them, his presence commanding instant attention. Introducing himself as Mr. Rodriguez, a talent scout for the national team, he extended an offer that took their breath away. "Daniel, your performance was nothing short of extraordinary. We would like to extend an offer for you to join the national youth team." Daniel's eyes widened in disbelief and awe. "Really?" "I can hardly believe it." Carmen's heart swelled with an even more profound sense of pride and amazement. "Thank you so much, Mr. Rodriguez. This opportunity means more to us than words can express." Mr. Rodriguez's smile was warm and encouraging. "Your son has an incredibly bright future ahead. We will be in touch with more details soon." The following days were a whirlwind of activity, a heady mix of excitement and preparation. The offer from the national team meant a significant shift in their lives, requiring them to relocate to the capital where Daniel would undergo rigorous training and attend school. Carmen grappled with a cocktail of joy and apprehension about the impending changes. One evening, sensing her unease, Daniel asked with concern, "Mom, are you sure about this? It seems like such a huge change." Carmen looked at him with a reassuring smile, her voice steady despite the swirling emotions within her. "It's indeed a major transition, but it's also an incredible opportunity for you. I am immensely proud of what you've achieved, and we will face this new chapter together with hope and determination." Resolute and driven, Carmen began the intricate process of packing up their lives and organizing the logistics for their move. Simultaneously, she applied for teaching positions in the capital, determined to secure a stable job that would support their new life and provide a foundation for their future. On their last day in their quaint, close-knit town, neighbors and friends gathered to bid them a heartfelt farewell. Mrs. Mendoza, her eyes glistening with admiration, embraced Carmen tightly. "You've been a beacon of inspiration for all of us, Carmen. Your strength and determination have touched us deeply. We will miss you both dearly." "We'll miss you too," Carmen replied, her voice choked with emotion and gratitude. "Thank you for all the support and kindness you've shown us." The move to the capital was both daunting and thrilling, brimming with the promise of new beginnings and opportunities. The city, with its vast expanse and ceaseless energy, was a stark contrast to their peaceful, familiar town. They settled into a modest apartment located conveniently near Daniel's new school and training facility. Carmen marveled at the magnitude of the opportunities that lay ahead, the city's vibrant pulse a constant reminder of the new chapter they were embarking upon. Shortly after their arrival, Carmen received exciting news. She had been offered a teaching position at a local school. The stability of the new job alleviated many of her worries and filled her with a renewed sense of purpose and optimism. One afternoon, as she busied herself preparing dinner, Daniel burst into the apartment, his face aglow with an infectious excitement. "Mom, you won't believe it. I've been offered a sponsorship deal," he announced, his voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Carmen turned to him, her astonishment and joy evident in her expression. The sponsorship deal was a further testament to Daniel's exceptional talent and the promising future that lay ahead of him. Carmen's heart overflowed with pride and relief, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the journey they had undertaken and the incredible milestones they had achieved together. A sponsorship deal? That's incredible. Carmen's eyes widened with amazement as her son's words poured out in a cascade of excitement. A sportswear company wants to sponsor me, Daniel explained, his voice bubbling with enthusiasm. They'll provide all my gear and cover some of my expenses. This is going to be such a huge help for us. Carmen's heart swelled with pride and tears of joy welled up in her eyes. She pulled Daniel into a tight embrace, her voice trembling with emotion. I'm so incredibly proud of you, Daniel. You're truly living your dreams, and this is just the beginning of something extraordinary. The sponsorship deal provided a significant boost to their finances, easing their transition into the vibrant city life they were now navigating. Daniel thrived amidst his new surroundings, deftly balancing his demanding training regimen with his academic responsibilities. Carmen found a deep sense of fulfillment in her new teaching role, forging meaningful connections with her students and colleagues. As the weeks seamlessly blended into months, Carmen and Daniel fully embraced their new life, their bond strengthening with every challenge they faced and overcame together. The once intimidating capital city, with its relentless pace and sprawling expanse, had transformed into a landscape brimming with opportunities and personal growth. The rhythmic symphony of car horns and animated conversations now filled Carmen's daily life as she walked home from the market, her hands laden with groceries. Each step she took, each familiar corner she turned, imbued her with a sense of accomplishment and belonging. Their apartment, which had once felt like a mere temporary space, was gradually becoming a warm, inviting home. Daniel's achievements on the field propelled them closer to their aspirations, but it was the support and camaraderie of their new community that truly enriched their journey. As Carmen walked through the bustling streets, she reflected on the arduous path they had traveled, the trials they had surmounted, and the unforeseen blessings that had graced their lives. It was a testament to their resilience, the power of their unwavering determination, and the incredible strength of community support. Their lives were alive with palpable excitement and forward momentum. Daniel excelled both in his athletic pursuits and in his new academic environment, while Carmen adapted seamlessly to her role as a dedicated teacher. Each day presented new hurdles, but they faced them head-on, fortified by their unbreakable bond and shared determination. One serene evening, as they savored a quiet dinner together at home, Daniel's voice broke the comfortable silence. "Mom, do you ever think about how far we've come?" Carmen looked at him, her heart brimming with love and pride. "All the time, sweetheart. We've journeyed through so much together, and I couldn't be prouder. We've come so far, and we're building something truly wonderful here." With the future brimming with promise, Carmen and Daniel knew that, with their mutual support and shared hope, they could conquer any challenge that lay ahead. The path before them was still uncertain, but they were ready to face it together, guided by hope and a sense of adventure. Just then, Daniel's voice cut through Carmen's thoughts as he bounded toward her, his face alight with excitement. "Mom, did you see that? I have this incredible feeling that we're going to win today." "I know you will, sweetheart. Just give it your all," Carmen encouraged, embracing him warmly. Her gaze swept the crowd, searching for Alejandro, whose reassuring presence she had come to miss despite their recent reconciliation. As the match commenced, Carmen's heart pounded with each exhilarating play. Daniel's brilliance on the field was undeniable, his skill and determination on full display. Suddenly, Carmen felt a jolt of surprise as a familiar voice spoke beside her. "He's incredible, isn't he?" Carmen turned to see Alejandro standing there, his eyes gleaming with admiration and pride. "Alejandro, she exclaimed, a rush of relief and joy flooding over her. "I'm so glad you're here. I thought I'd miss seeing you." "Of course I wouldn't miss this for the world," Alejandro replied with a warm smile, settling beside her. His presence was a comforting reminder of the strong, supportive relationships that had been crucial in their journey. As the game continued, the sense of community and support around them added an extra layer of warmth to the already thrilling experience. They watched the game in a tranquil, shared silence, the accumulated tension of the past weeks melting away amidst the collective joy of the moment. As the final whistle blew, marking the end of the match and the victory of Daniel's team, the stadium erupted into a thunderous cheer. Daniel sprinted towards his mother, his face alight with unrestrained joy as he lifted his arms in a triumphant gesture. "We did it, Mom. We won," he exclaimed, his voice filled with elation. Carmen's heart swelled with pride, her voice choked with emotion as she responded, "I'm so incredibly proud of you." Daniel. Alejandro, who had been standing nearby, stepped forward, clapping Daniel on the back with a grin of admiration. "Great game, champ. You were phenomenal out there." "Thanks, Alejandro." Daniel's smile was radiant, reflecting the pride and excitement he felt. As the crowd slowly began to disperse, Carmen and Alejandro found a quiet corner near the field, away from the fading noise of celebration. "Alejandro, I'm really glad you came today," Carmen said softly, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. "I'm glad too," Carmen. Alejandro replied, his gaze steady as he took her hands in his. "We need to talk. I want to clear up any lingering doubts you might still have. Isabella is just my sister, nothing more." Carmen nodded, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. "I know. I was foolish to doubt you. I'm truly sorry for pushing you away," she admitted, her voice trembling. Alejandro's smile was warm and understanding. "It's all in the past now. What matters is that we're here." Together, with a tender look in his eyes, he reached into his pocket and retrieved a small velvet box. Carmen's heart raced as Alejandro knelt on one knee. The gesture was both poignant and profound. "Carmen," he began, his voice earnest and filled with emotion, "these past few months have revealed just how much you mean to me. Your strength, your kindness, and the boundless love you have for Daniel have touched me deeply. Will you marry me?" Carmen's breath caught in her throat, her eyes locked onto Alejandro's with a mixture of love and certainty. "Yes, Alejandro, I will marry you," she said, her voice steady with conviction. Cheers erupted from the surrounding crowd as Daniel, who had been watching from a distance, ran over and enveloped both of them in a joyous embrace. "We're going to be a family," he shouted, his voice filled with exuberant delight. Tears of happiness streamed down Carmen's face as she held both Daniel and Alejandro close. "Yes, we are. A family," she affirmed, her voice thick with emotion. In the days that followed, their lives were a whirlwind of activity and excitement as they began planning their future together. Carmen moved in with Alejandro, and together they embarked on the journey of blending their lives, marked by love, laughter, and a deep mutual respect. One serene evening, as they sat on the balcony of their new home, watching the sunset cast its brilliant hues across the sky, Carmen felt an overwhelming sense of peace and fulfillment. "This is everything I've ever dreamed of, Alejandro," she said softly, her voice imbued with contentment. "And more," Alejandro replied, gently squeezing her hand. "We have a bright and promising future ahead of us, filled with love and endless possibilities." The summer sun bathed the familiar streets of Daniel's hometown in a warm, golden glow as he drove through, each turn bringing a flood of memories. It had been years since his last visit, and today's journey carried a somber purpose. Daniel had learned from an old friend that Mrs. Mendoza, the kind woman who had once gifted him his first football uniform, was now in poor health. As he approached her modest home, a pang of sadness gripped his heart. The garden, which had once been a vibrant tapestry of colors and life, now appeared forlorn and neglected, mirroring the state of his old friend. Daniel knocked gently on the door of Mrs. Mendoza's modest home, the sound of his knuckles against the wood echoing in the stillness. After a moment, the door creaked open to reveal Mrs. Mendoza in a wheelchair, her frail frame supported by the chair, but her smile warm and inviting. "Daniel, it's so good to see you," she said, her voice carrying a mixture of relief and affection. "Mrs. Mendoza, I've missed you so much," Daniel replied, kneeling to embrace her. "I came as soon as I heard. How are you holding up?" Mrs. Mendoza sighed, her eyes reflecting the fatigue and sorrow she had endured. "I'm managing, dear. It's been difficult since Martin passed away, but I get by. You know how it is." Daniel's heart ached at the mention of Martin, a man he had considered a close friend. The loss of him was still keenly felt. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Mendoza. I wish I had known sooner." They spent the afternoon reminiscing, the room filled with the sounds of laughter and shared stories from the past, which seemed to temporarily lift the veil of sadness. As the day progressed, Daniel's concern grew more palpable. He noticed Mrs. Mendoza's deteriorating health and felt compelled to act. "Mrs. Mendoza, have you seen a doctor about your condition?" he asked gently. She shook her head slowly. "Doctors are expensive and I can't afford the surgery they recommend," she replied, her voice tinged with resignation. Daniel took her hand in his, a firm resolve taking root within him. "Let me help. You've done so much for me, and now it's my turn to give back." Mrs. Mendoza looked at him with a mixture of surprise and hesitation, her eyes brimming with tears. "I can't ask you to do that, Daniel. You have your own life and responsibilities." "You're not asking, I'm offering," Daniel insisted with gentle determination. "Please, let me do this for you. It's the least I can do." Despite her initial resistance, Daniel's persistence won out. He contacted a reputable clinic in the city and took care of all the necessary arrangements. The following week, he returned to Mrs. Mendoza's home to escort her to the clinic, his resolve unwavering. As they arrived, Mrs. Mendoza looked around, clearly overwhelmed by the unfamiliar surroundings. "I don't know how to thank you, Daniel," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You don't have to thank me," Daniel replied with a reassuring smile. "Just focus on getting better using the funds from his sponsorship deal." Daniel covered all the expenses for her surgery. Watching her being wheeled into the operating room, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. This woman, who had changed his life with her kindness, was now receiving his support in return. The surgery was a success, and after a few days of recovery, Mrs. Mendoza began her rehabilitation. Daniel visited her daily, offering encouragement and companionship through each step of her recovery. One sunny afternoon, as they sat together in the hospital garden, Mrs. Mendoza looked at Daniel with tear-filled eyes, her voice quivering with emotion. "You've given me my life back, Daniel. I don't know how to repay you." "You've already repaid me 100 times over," Daniel said softly, his gaze filled with warmth. "Your kindness gave me the confidence to chase my dreams. This is my way of saying thank you." As the weeks passed, Mrs. Mendoza's health improved significantly. The hospital garden was a riot of colors, the scent of blooming flowers perfuming the air as Carmen and Daniel strolled hand in hand beside her. Each step Mrs. Mendoza took was a testament to her recovery, her face radiant with joy and gratitude. "It's a miracle, Mrs. Mendoza said, her voice trembling with happiness. "I never thought I'd walk again, and now here I am, thanks to you, Daniel." Daniel's smile was a blend of pride and affection. You deserve every bit of happiness, Mrs. Mendoza. You've always been there for me, and I'm glad I could be here for you." As they walked through the garden, Daniel marveled at how full circle their lives had come. The path they had traversed together was marked by moments of hardship and triumph, but the enduring bond of kindness and support was what had truly shaped their journey. As they strolled through the hospital garden, Carmen felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey they had endured together was marked by significant challenges and triumphs, and witnessing Mrs. Mendoza walk again was a powerful testament to the impact of love, perseverance, and support. It was a moment of quiet victory, a reflection of their collective strength and resilience. Later that afternoon, they returned home to find Alejandro waiting for them at the door, a bouquet of roses in hand. His eyes sparkled with affection as he handed the flowers to Carmen. "These are for you, Carmen," he said, his voice tender. "And I have something else for both of you." Curious and excited, Carmen and Daniel exchanged looks as Alejandro handed them an envelope. Carmen opened it to reveal a beautifully designed wedding invitation. "It's time we make it official," Alejandro said, his voice brimming with warmth and sincerity. The wedding was a charming and intimate affair, set in a picturesque garden surrounded by close friends and family. Daniel stood proudly as the best man, his heart overflowing with joy and pride for his mother. As Carmen and Alejandro exchanged their vows, the air was filled with a sense of new beginnings and a hopeful future. Months flowed by, bringing a joyful rhythm to their lives. Daniel's football career continued to soar, his talent and dedication earning him increasing recognition. One evening, as they gathered around the dinner table, Daniel's phone rang, bringing news that would alter the course of his life. "Mom, Alejandro, you won't believe this," Daniel said, his voice brimming with excitement. "I've been offered a spot on an international team. They want me to play in Europe." Carmen's eyes filled with tears of pride. "Daniel, that's incredible. You've worked so hard for this moment. I'm so proud of you." Alejandro clapped him on the back with a broad smile. "You've earned it, Daniel. This is just the start of an amazing adventure." The prospect of moving to Europe was both thrilling and daunting. As Daniel prepared for this new chapter, Carmen and Alejandro were by his side, providing unwavering support and encouragement. They helped him pack, sorted out travel plans, and made sure he had everything he needed for this exciting new phase of his career. On the day of his departure, the bustling airport was a hive of activity. Daniel embraced Carmen tightly, his emotions a mix of excitement and nostalgia. "I promise I'll make you proud, Mom." "You already have," Daniel, Carmen replied, her voice filled with emotion. "Chase your dreams and know that we'll always be here, cheering you on every step of the way." Alejandro joined in the farewell, pulling Daniel into a bear hug. "Remember, we're just a phone call away. Stay focused, enjoy every moment, and know that we're with you in spirit." As Daniel walked through the terminal, his heart swelled with hope and determination. He was stepping into a new world, filled with challenges and opportunities, but he carried with him the love and support of his family. The journey ahead was uncertain, but he was ready to embrace it with all his heart, knowing that no matter where he went, he had a strong foundation to return to. Carmen and Alejandro watched as Daniel disappeared through the gate, their hearts full of pride and anticipation for the future. They knew that while their family was embarking on new adventures, the bonds they shared would only grow stronger with time. As Daniel walked towards the departure gate, he paused and looked back, his heart swelling with gratitude for the support and love that had carried him to this moment. He gave one last wave before stepping into the bustling terminal, feeling both excited and wistful. The following months were a whirlwind of intense training, high-stakes games, and immersing himself in a new culture. Daniel quickly adapted to the fast-paced world of European football, earning accolades for his performance and forging new friendships with teammates and fans. Despite the physical distance, he stayed connected with Carmen and Alejandro, sharing the highs and lows of his journey through regular calls and messages. Their encouragement was a constant reminder of home. Back in their city, Carmen and Alejandro continued to build their life together, finding joy in everyday moments and supporting each other through the ups and downs of life. Their relationship grew deeper with each passing day, strengthened by their shared experiences and the love they had cultivated. As the season drew to a close, Daniel returned home for a visit, eager to reconnect and share his experiences. The family reunion was a celebration of achievements and love, filled with laughter, heartfelt conversations, and cherished memories. "Mom," Alejandro Daniel said, his eyes sparkling with pride, "this season has been amazing. The challenges and triumphs have been incredible, and I couldn't have reached this point without your unwavering support. Thank you for believing in me." Carmen and Alejandro embraced him tightly, their hearts overflowing with pride and love. "We're so proud of you," Daniel, Carmen said, her voice thick with emotion. "Your success is a testament to your hard work and dedication. Seeing you achieve your dreams brings us so much joy." The years that followed were a blend of continued growth, exciting adventures, and treasured moments. Daniel's career in football flourished, and his family remained a steadfast source of support and love. Together, they faced life's joys and challenges with resilience and a deep sense of connection. In the end, it was the love they shared and the unwavering support they gave each other that made their journey truly extraordinary. Their story was a testament to the power of family, the strength found in unwavering belief, and the incredible heights that can be reached when you have a foundation of love and support to guide you. As we wrap up today's journey, we've witnessed a story of dreams, resilience, and the power of unwavering support. From Daniel's rise in the world of football to Carmen and Alejandro's blossoming love, every moment has been a testament to the strength of family and the rewards of dedication and compassion. We'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from Daniel, Carmen, and Alejandro's story? Share one insight or lesson you'll be bringing into your own life in the comments below. Your reflections might inspire others on their journeys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comments, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.